I need you to fight one last time.
How's it going, y'all? Rowdy Riles back with another video. First video of the year, 2026, so happy new year. And last night was the Stranger Things finale, the end of Stranger Things as we know it. The original cast and characters, they're all signing off. There will be an animated show coming off set in between season 2 and 3, but that's a little different. So this finale was fantastic. The 3 episodes in between, the volume 2, part 2, up into this, not so much. There were a lot of problems, but let's just talk about Stranger Things 5.
Mother of God.
So first of all, I want to say props to the cast. The same issues though with Will's delivery, and sometimes Elle has a little bit less emotion on her face than she should, and that's been pointed out in memes and stuff, but we're not here to make fun of anybody or make fun of a woman's choices with her body or anything like that. We're here to talk about Stranger Things, and I think that the performances were fantastic. The emotion was there, the raw delivery, the feelings, it's all building up and welling up, and you're feeling this stuff. In those first 3 episodes, so that was what, 4, 5, or 5, 6, and 7? 6, 7. Those episodes were kind of like churning water. Like there was a lot of stuff that it's like, yes, there was important plot elements coming out. Important things we're learning about the Upside Down, how it works, its true nature and all that stuff. But the point to get there, it was just like churning a lot of water. Like, I don't want to make spoilers for this review, but they're there to rescue someone. And then, you know, that kind of just goes nowhere. And that doesn't happen until the end of the show. And the end of the show, oh my God. It was so good. It was so good. It was 2 hours. It left you wanting more. And the ending shot, see, I'm getting teary-eyed thinking about it. You know, it started off with the D&D game, and that can lead your imagination where you want it to. But that's how the whole show started, with a group of friends playing Dungeons and Dragons. And it really did feel like that the whole time, just the way that they, you know, they thought, the way that they worked together, the plans that they made. It's all very Dungeons and Dragon-esque. And that's shown through the last episode very strongly in all parts of the episode. You know, there's references, there's mentions of things, and then, you know, of course that feeling hits from the first season, because I want to say, all right, I'm going to rank the seasons right now. So season 1 is obviously the best. Season 4 is the third best, or second best. Season 5 was the third best. Season 3 was 4th, and then season 2 was the 5th best season. Season 2 was the weakest season overall. Not a bad season. I don't think there's a single horribly bad season in Stranger Things, just some questionable choices as far as characters and writing and all that stuff. But I don't think that any of this show was bad. Yes, there's some weak points. There's some characters that you're just like, oh, okay. Some, like I said, some questionable ideas and tactics and all that stuff, and questionable delivery. But overall, the show has been solid. It had its core idea. There was never explanations for anything until they wanted to explain something. So bringing so much more of the Upside Down and the lore into that. So there is a Broadway show called, I don't know what it's called, but it's about Vecna. It's about Henry Creel as a younger person leading up to Dimension X and all that stuff the second time. Because, well, I think the first time he went there is as an adult. But that is important lore. And a lot of that is woven into season 5. But there's not a lot of explanation to it. It just kind of shows you what it wants to show you. So if you wanted to at all have more context, there is more context for all this. Dimension X, the Abyss, that is not new concepts. That has been around since at least season 3. And the Duffer Brothers say, oh yeah, we've been planning this the whole time. We know exactly where it's going. And I don't think that's true. I think they had a rough idea, but I was glad to see that some of my theories were right as far as the big bad and all that stuff and the reveals and what happened. Oh man. So people were talking about the VFX not being so strong in a couple of those mid-part episodes, mostly with Max and Holly in certain situation. But the VFX in the last episode make up for all of that. The scale is gargantuan. The VFX are great. The stakes are high, and you really do feel that. And you love these characters. If you love Stranger Things, you love these characters. You don't want to see them hurt. You don't want to see them go. You don't want to see anything bad happen to them. And I'm going to say it has a happy ending, but it's a somber ending. And it's an ending that is still open and leads to questions, not so much for the show, but for yourself to put forward and kind of like be like, well, I don't know. And I think that that's a good ending. I think that leaving it with an air of mystery is what Stranger Things has always been about, and closing out that way is also a very good way to end the show. Now, this show's been around for 9 years. It hasn't been on 9 years consecutively because they took like a year or two break in between seasons. Like season, 4 came out in 2023 or something like that. And then, obviously 2 years later, we get the final season. But there's always been this sense of collectiveness for people who watch this show, much like when Game of Thrones was airing week to week, other than the last season. There is a sense of people wanting to talk about it. People want to watch it right away, connect with other fans, talk about their theories, talk about their feelings. And we don't have a lot of that on TV anymore. We do have our event shows like It Welcome to Derry was probably the best show. Well, I don't know. I really do like Stranger Things season 5, but It Welcome to Derry had that same feeling, and we're getting more of those shows. I really like that. Like, I feel like The Boys season 5 is going to be one of those shows. Did you see that? Did you see what happened? And Stranger Things has had that place in our life for at least 9 years, since these kids were like 10 or 11 years old, and now they're all grown up, and we watch them grow up on TV, and it's like, wow. I know it's kind of stupid to get emotional about, but the show's gone. It's over. We're not going to see these characters in this form again. We're not going to continue their story. There is a spinoff coming, but the Duffer Brothers say it'll be in a new decade with new characters, new setting, loose connections to Stranger Things, but not really the upside down, more of a different kind of thing going on. And I'm looking forward to that. I just hope. And also the Duffer Brothers are not going to be showrunners. They're not going to be working on it. They're going over to Paramount. So they just have their ideas, their executive producers and all that stuff. So I don't know. I feel like Stranger Things has truly ended. I feel like we're never going to get this feeling again when it comes to a television show. I hope we do, but I just don't know. I don't think that every show connects with everyone like Stranger Things has. There's something in there for everyone, whether you're a child from the 80s, the 90s, you just love sci-fi, you love horror, you love, mystery. It is all wrapped up in that show, and for the most part, done very well. So yes, this is a season 5 review, but this is overall my feelings of the show as a whole. And I will say that Stranger Things is probably one of my favorite TV shows. It was a cultural phenomenon. When it first came out of nowhere, a show rejected by so many different studios came to Netflix and just hit the ground running. And I remember watching that show. I was on a certain substance where you start seeing colors and stuff, and I didn't know anything what it was. And I was like, all right, this looks cool. This looks like a Stephen King thing. We're just sitting here chilling. I hit play and I was like, the whole time, because it starts off in the first episode with the D&D game and the Demogorgon and it's straight up horror and sci-fi, and you're like, oh my God, what is this? And then it blew up from there. And I would say that I'm glad we have Stranger Things. The first half of season 5, fantastic. The 3 middle episodes, the finale, 10 out of 10. The finale was perfect. Other than Will's delivery on some lines, like there's some lines where Will is just like, you could have tried harder. How many takes could you have done to maybe portray the emotion or not make the line sound forced and corny? I don't know. And then I feel like Millie Bobby Brown, Millie Bonnie Bon Jovi really picked up the slack on the finale episode. There was a lot of emotion. There was a monologue, and then Hopper, David Harbour. Oh, the monologue that he gave to 11. It was so heartbreaking and so profound, and it meant a lot. And it was good to see those characters interacting on a one-to-one even ground where they're not, I'm doing this to protect you. You're just trying to keep me from growing. They understood each other in that moment and what they wanted for each other. Now, if they got there at the end, I can't say for y'all. You need to watch the show. But I was crying a lot. I was crying a lot. At least 7 separate times in the show. The beginning, the middle, the end. It's 2 hour and 5 minute finale. It was wrapped up beautifully with a bow. It just the warm fuzzies, all that kind of stuff. I don't want to spoil anything, but I really do think that you should check out Stranger Things. If you haven't seen the show, please do yourself a favor. Binge it all from start to finish. You have the opportunity now to watch it from beginning to end. No one's had that opportunity until last night. So watch Stranger Things 5. I'm going to give the whole show a 9.5. There's some weak stuff, some strong stuff. I'm not rating the season separately, but now that the entire show is out and we can see exactly where it was going, a 9.5. Child actors, they have their weaknesses, they have their strengths, they grew into their roles. Some of them got better, some of them just kind of stayed the same. But overall, the characters, the setting, the story is what really keeps people around. And that was the heart of the show. And that's where my heart was. So for me, Stranger Things 5 was great. I don't spoil stuff, so please go check it out yourself. Happy New Year. Like, subscribe, comment, become a channel member, 99 cents. Do all that stuff. Keep your head up, stay brave, be kind to your local LGBTQ community. I love you. I will see you next time, and bye-bye.
Return to
Found a mythical Walmart end cap.
Ah, Morty, you're still watching this crap, isn't this? To review figures and toys and stuff, aren't you a little old for toys? Ah, jeez, Rick, you know, I don't think you should call her a bitch, and I kind of like her videos, so maybe you should shut the f*** up. Thank you, Morty. Thank you.